Hello, Nick. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'm really happy to have you because I have actually lots of questions because I couldn't find out much about the Contracult Collective. So please introduce yourself to the audience and say who you are, what you're doing in the band, and give us a little bit about your musical backstory, and then maybe also the first details about Contracult Collective, and there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Anyway, let's start with the introduction.
Sure. Thanks for having me. My name's Nick. Also known as play guitar in Contracult Collective. Um, yeah. As far as musical background, I've kind of been all over the place. I grew up in Texas, and came up with a lot of blues, country, rock, heavy metal, stuff like that. That's what I grew up with. A lot of classic rock, and started out just kind of playing with that, and then quickly started trying to form metal bands in my hometown, which was really hard. Eventually got some guys together. We formed a band that played together for almost 10 years, and we did a bunch of touring and a lot of cool experiences. Then I moved to New York and spent the next decade in New York City. Playing in a bunch of different projects. One of them was a band called White Widows Pact, and it was like early 90s, late 80s death metal mixed with like East Coast hardcore and some like Southern sludge stuff. A lot of those NOLA bands were a big influence on me. Your I Hate God, Acid Bath, Crowbar, even Exorder, all those bands you listen to from down there. Soylent Green especially. So we mixed all that together, and me and the other guitar player in the band were at the bar pretty early on and talking about other music we liked, and we both really liked industrial and industrial metal specifically. And we're like, well, we should start a little project doing that, and it took us a few years to get that together. We just started making demos. He bought a drum machine, started programming. I just started writing riffs to that. We had the band was called Hogwash. He chose WASDHE. That's how we spelled it. And we started playing a few shows around. We put out a tape. And and then from there, this will kind of connect into the Contracult stuff. This is a quick story, basically, how we got there. But we were Hogwash, and we ended up recording new demos, and a friend of a friend was starting to work at Roadrunner Records. They got it, and then we started working with them for a few years, and through the course of that, we ended up changing the name to Contracult, and that's where we're at now.
Okay, so I have to admit, I always first of all, thank you, but this is a free conversation, so that's fine. I told you before, we can talk about whatever. But usually, I try to find out a little bit about the band before, so I have some topics I can kind of pick
Sure.
on. But I have to admit, there is not much to find about Contracult Collective. It's really, I mean, you have a YouTube account, you're on Spotify, and you're on Bandcamp, but there's no meat to the bone.
I,
I mean,
I can explain that.
yeah. So
It's
please
kind of
do.
interesting. So it probably occurred to a lot of people like Contracult just popped out of nowhere last year, but essentially Hogwash, we put out a tape, and it was just two of us, me and the singer, and we'd play like weird shows, some of them that just had electronic artists and stuff like that, and then we'd play, it'd be guitar and program music, and he would sing and do some live stuff. And once we got our demo to Roadrunner, Roadrunner wanted to work with us,
Hmm.
and they actually came out and saw us play. And we were playing around with having a drummer or not having a drummer in the band. Had a friend play drums, so just fill it out, see if that was for us or not. And at the time, we were playing a show, and they called, and the like 5 or 6 people from Roadrunner came to see us in a basement show in the Lower East Side, New York, at like 1 a.m. on like a Wednesday, which was crazy. They all came out and they loved it, and they're like, let's see what we can do. Let's, if you guys want to try working with us. So that was in 2017. So essentially, it went from 2017 to 2018. We actually signed with a label, um, and they sent us around to a bunch of different studios, bunch of different, like, they even tried to see if we wanted to write with other people, and so many experiences. We were all over the country. They're like, well, try this. Okay, you want to try that? And, blah, 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 blah. And this is just a long, stretched out period. So in that period, we didn't really play many shows. The last shows we played were like 2000 into 2017. In 2018, we're going to studios working on the product. 2019, we thought we were going to put it out, and then because of label stuff, and stuff's just stretched out with major labels, and this is going to get pushed back to this time or that time. It was like, it went from, all right, we'll release it 2019 to we'll release it at the beginning of 2020. So during the course of this entire process, we changed the name to Contracult.
Mm-hmm.
So when Roadrunner initially released our singles at the beginning of last year, there's nothing. It's just like we came out of thin air, pretty much. But in fact, we were called the Hogwash before, and we had recorded some demos and played around New York. And we came down and did the South by Southwest one time. We did a show in Austin. But other than that, that was the whole situation. So to most people, it's probably like, oh, who's this band? There's no information from them, because we played one show with Ghost, not the metal band, but the like synthwave artist, last year, and then released music, and then it was like pandemic was happening. You know what I mean? So boom, we played one show, and then we have stuff booked like towards the end of the year, which got moved to this year for these festivals. But that was it. So it's just like there wasn't a whole lot to see. There wasn't a lot, not concert footage everywhere. We played one show, and we had a backlog of music we had already recorded over the course of the last 2 years. So pretty much everything people heard last year was listening to the band in 2018 when we recorded it. All that stuff, pretty much. So it's all older stuff. And and during the pandemic, we're like, okay, well, we have these EPs and stuff to put out, but me and Spart from the band, we were like, let's put a studio together in the living room of his house, and just wrote a full record. We wrote like, I think 17 songs or something, but we're going to release like 10 or 11. I then went back, we demoed everything. I went back at the beginning of this year and during the springtime to LA and recorded all of it, like how we're going to keep it, how we're going to release it. And it's really exciting record. So the next stuff that we will put out a single on September 17th. And that single, which will already have been out by now, but a song called Plunge. But that's the first time people are going to hear us in a current state since we've been a band, since it's all fresh. But even this stuff we wrote last year, I'm saying. So it's pretty interesting.
Okay, and in the videos I saw, you were like a 3-piece. Are you a 2-piece still, or are you a 3-piece now?
We Beck is in the band permanently. She's very talented singer, plays keys. She can play guitar, bass, all that stuff. So yeah, she's all over this record. We incorporate a lot more of her vocals in there and brought those to the front and really diversify the sound. Live, we will have a drummer for these festivals that we're booked on, as long
Hmm.
as they don't get canceled. I just saw Nine Inch Nails and Deftones dropped off the one show. One of them we were playing.
Mm.
Bummer. But yeah, so we'll have a 4-piece live, but definitely the core of the band is us three.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no, but this explains quite a lot, because I was like, you know, there's things to find, and also on Spotify you're doing quite well, but there seems to be, yeah, like you said, you popped out of nowhere, and you're there. And I saw I saw on Instagram your booking with Free Teeth, and all the big guys, like you just said, unfortunately now that Nine Inch Nails dropped off or something. But it's like from a band coming out of nowhere, it's kind of very unusual to be booked for a big festival right away. So I just couldn't get it together how this happened.
Yeah, it's very confusing. Luckily, we have an amazing booking agent who we work with, named Josh Klein, and he was able to get us on those dates for sure. Of course, we wanted to tour earlier in the year, but people weren't really touring.
Hmm.
So now that those are the only dates booked, and we are actually working on trying to get on a tour with Three Teeth. I know my singer and his singer talk, and they were going to do a tour out to one of the fests, and I think they got a better offer to do something else. But that's kind of where we want to keep it. We do want to play with bands like that, and the heavier industrial scene is big, but it's small. Also, I feel like when it comes to like real popular bands that can kind of play with more contemporary heavy bands, that's when it shrinks up. When there's
Hmm.
just a handful of bands. Because and honestly, just like every genre of music, there's a whole bunch of bands that I probably wouldn't normally listen to within every genre.
Yep.
Sometimes there's a weird fine line of, I think, stuff that can be corny and not, and to kind of ride the line.
I
You
hear you.
know,
I know exactly what you mean, because it's the fine line between being original enough to have your own voice, your own sound, but also be recognizable enough to fit into the genre, but also not falling into the death trap with like death metal, where it's like, oh, this is not true death metal if it's not like this and this and this and that, and then it's all the things sound this. It's this thin line, and that's why we are talking, because I think you tread it quite nicely, because you have your own sound. You're very distinctive. You have a really cool. You're a guitar player, right? You have a really cool punchy guitar sound. I really like it. It's yeah. I think I can hear some of a sludge or whatever influence. You have a punch. You have like a cool gritty sound to it, but not fuzzy. Like you have sometimes with Crowbar is a little bit more fuzzy, I think, guitar sound wise. I haven't listened to them in a while, but anyway, um, I hear exactly what you're saying. You need to be original enough to kind of have your own, to cut out your own corner in your niche, but also kind of go with the flow. To be there. And what I always liked on industrial, especially industrial rock and metal, is if you play it right, you can live in a lot of different worlds. You can also live in the alternative rock scene with some of the music. And I heard one of your songs on YouTube was more like a ballad, so this works as well. And then you can also go to the electro stuff. What I like is kind of, for me, it's the marriage of the best of the worlds. I like heavy music and I like electronic, and putting this together, for me, Ministry, Psalm 69 was kind of the awakening. And so since when I'm kind of or KMFDM, I'm into this stuff. So yeah, but yeah, thank you for explaining where you're coming from. This is actually interesting. So you're signed to Roadrunner Records now.
no, we're not
You're
currently.
you're not, okay.
That was that. without getting into details, it was
Just only talk
we
about it
worked with.
if you're comfortable. I don't want to push you
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's fine. Oh, I mean, we worked with them for a few years, and then during the pandemic, when it started, and the inner workings of the label and who their parent labels were and stuff switched around while we were in that process, which seemed to create a few problems in terms of our progress. So us being a band, them taking a chance and putting a bunch of money into a band that was out of nowhere,
Hmm.
us not having numbers already created some issues later, as opposed to, so they did put out a few songs. Long story short, we are independent now. We
Okay.
might stay that way
Hmm.
because I mean we have a great team and everything we need to to get to achieve our goals that we want to. And we recorded this whole last record on our own. Like Travis, or our singer, he did recorded it all.
Hmm.
So we're pretty sure that we could keep everything a little more close, and it would be just as well at this point in time. If we're just putting out digital product, if we need to put out physical product, we can do that too. But spreading stuff out, man, like the labels, you turn in the record, sometimes it comes out 8-9 months later, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And there's something really cool about being an independent band, like or if you listen to Ghost Main before.
Ghost Mame.
Ghost, it's Ghostemane.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's like Ghost with an E at the end, and then Mane. The last two records he did are pretty incredible. Anti Icon and Noise, and he does everything independent, and it's like rap meets like it's like if it's hard to explain. It's like you have like a modern rapper mixing in like Nine Inch Nails and Antichrist Superstar era Marilyn Manson, um, and stuff like that, and hardcore. And sometimes he does black metal stuff on the side, but
So
not in.
all over the place.
Yeah, but it's really cool, and he's in
Hmm.
basically what I'm roundabout way of getting at is he's independent, and if he wants to put his record out tomorrow instead of next week, he
Hmm.
can just do it. So I don't know. The record labels are very helpful, and we wouldn't have been able to be where we are right now without Roadrunner, and I appreciate them, but I don't know if they're really necessary at this point. So right now, as an independent, moving forward, we just have a little more freedom to put out what we want. We don't have to, hey, is this video concept cool to you guys? And
Hmm.
them have to be
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You don't
it's
have some overlords to kind of get okayed by. You just can do what you feel like. So no, I'm completely with you, and that's maybe this is something I mean, we're already talking about it basically. Um, as an artist, you don't need this today, to put out music, and that's why I was a little bit confused. I thought you were signed to Roadrunner, but you have a Bandcamp, because I think Bandcamp is independent anyway, so it has no affiliation to labels usually. I think where a label really helps you, like you said, is to gain some traction and maybe get into some bigger venues, and it just has a nice glow or a nice ring to it if you say, we are signed to this and that, and kind of like woo. Um,
sure. Yeah,
um,
people listen to you. It's interesting, like the the opportunities, the doors that are open when you're working with a label like that. People, oh, you're working with them. Oh, okay. All of a sudden, all these booking agents and everyone are a little more open ears. And
Attentive.
I feel, oh yeah, I mean, and I feel like a lot of it is a lot of the people want to have those good relationships with those labels, and it's not really just about us, it's about them maintaining good relationships with them. And
Hmm.
it's just real interesting. You see people definitely react differently about stuff, and certain people would be really excited to work with you and then find out that you're not doing stuff with the label. And I would kind of feel like that some of them are a little less interested afterwards. So
Hmm.
it makes you wonder if they were just wanting to, latch
To
on and get something for themselves as opposed to actually want to help out or something.
hmm So yeah, it's like a door opener, but it's kind of it shouldn't be because the music should kind of talk for itself. But on the other hand, you might not know this, but I'm a radio DJ as well, and trust me, there is a lot of music out there, and it's kind of it. In a way, what I can see here is if you're signed to a label, it also gives you kind of a stamp of approval that somebody already kind of audited your music. You know, you're not somebody who threw something together on his iPhone and just send it out, through. DistroKit to Spotify, there's somebody who checked it and approved it basically. So I get that it has a nice ring to it, but it's like you said, it's not really necessary. What you really need, at least from my perspective in this day and age, is what you already also got, is playing. That people see you live, because this is. With Spotify being flooded, I don't know how many songs each day come into. It's kind of impossible to stay afloat. But if you make a good live show, we're still human beings, and fuck this pandemic. I hope it's over one day, because this is where we congregate, where we really. Be together and have a communion. So I kind of see it almost like a church-like thing. If you have a mosh pit and you feel the sweat and the stench of spilled beer and whatever, but this is kind of a human thing. What you need to anyway. This is where this can really shine. And yeah. So and you're doing already fine there. It seems to me. I just as you were talking, I kind of wrote down to myself here. Why did you end up in L.A. then? Because you were in New York, and why the
Sure,
switch to L.A.?
sure. Yeah, we were living in New York, and after working with a label and everything, in the middle of that, uh, my singer was really he was keen on LA before, and I wanted to move there honestly when I was younger. I've always liked LA, and ended up not doing it. Ended up moving to New York for
Hmm.
reasons of circumstances and thing. I never was like, I'm moving to New York City. It wasn't a dream of mine or anything growing up, but I was glad I ended up moving there, and it was really cool. And I was like, we'll give it a few years, and I was there for a decade. So,
It's a few years. A decade is about 10 years.
yeah, yeah, a few and a few and a few together. Yeah. So anyway, we'd both talked about, we're like, what about relocating? What about getting out of here and relocating and making that the headquarters for the band? Because there was we went there and recorded too, and just seeing the types of music there that was a little more supported. There was more of a goth, maybe industrial dance kind of. There's just a lot more of that there. We felt like, and there's a whole lot of like underground clubs. I mean, LA's massive, in terms of like how big it is, and there's venues
Mhm.
everywhere, and it just seemed like a really cool change. So we just packed up and moved, and I was there until last August, and then I left. I'm from Texas originally, as I'd mentioned before, and I came back down here to spend time with family because everything was shut down there. I mean,
Mhm.
it's LA's pretty strict when it comes down to this stuff. I don't know what it's like there, but it was like people were wearing masks outside with by themselves, walking the dog with one around. Like it was just everyone's wearing masks everywhere. Uh, I don't know. There was nothing going on there at all. So we finished writing the record, and it was like, well, since there's nothing to do here, I can't work or can't go do anything besides. I mean, I think even the beaches and everything are closed.
Mhm.
So I was like, I'm gonna come back to Texas and come down with family and stuff, and that's where I'm at, San Antonio, staying with family in an extra room. And through the course of this, I've written a bunch of other music. So I have several other projects coming out as well. Um, so I'm not really in LA, but I've been back to LA to record since, and I'll be going back to LA at the beginning of September. So I don't know. I guess technically I live here, um, but I'm also just kind of moving always. If that makes any sense. As far as the band goes, since Travis and Beck are there, that is that's the main city for the band for sure. I'm just gonna have to go back and forth, I guess, until I figure out what's going on. But um, LA is a little more. I've gotten way off track here, but LA is a far better city to have that type of music. I felt like there wasn't much of that going on in New York. You would think the opposite,
Hmm.
but it's just
Yeah,
not.
New York is kind of. I've been only a couple of times there, a long time ago. But yeah, it's for me. It's more like punk, maybe a little bit goth, but yeah, punk and hardcore is for me New York kind of what I think of when I think of clubs and stuff. But yeah, the funny thing is that's why I ask about LA because I know a lot of bands from LA, and we are falling into. I talked with Edge of Paradise and Fleischkrieg. We do industrial metal as well. It's, for
Mhm.
me, kind of LA is a hub for this kind of music I love because I know quite a lot of bands from there. So it's funny. That's why I wanted to know why LA. And as you said, there's a fertile ground there. I think so also because a lot. One band I asked, we moved from Washington State to there. So it seems like there is a hub there. Okay, so. As you were talking, I this is a delicate question, and you don't have to answer it, of course, if you don't want to. But um, I assume you're not living from the music right now. So, what's your way of income, if you wanna say, because you seem to spend a lot of time for the music, and that's great. Please do so. I love your music, but this seems not to be the main supporting. Anyway, if you want to talk about it, if you don't,
Sure.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Sure. No. Absolutely. No. I've done a lot of things over the years, but one thing that's always maintained, whether I did it as part time or full time, is I'd bartend. I did that in New York, and I've done it in LA. There's a couple cool venues there I was bartending at before the pandemic. Place called Terragram, place called Moroccan Lounge. Um, so yeah, that's the main thing. But there's always little side hustles and stuff. Always find something. Right now, I'm still getting unemployment, so the plan is just to to kind of transition out of this. And the idea was like get done with all this pandemic crap and be done with unemployment, start moving on and working and everything. But it seems like it keeps pushing back.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And
yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, it's
so hopefully we
unfortunately.
can.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's right. Hopefully we can get back to an existence where everyone can work and prosper and go out and tour with all their projects and actually hopefully make a little money would be nice.
Hmm.
But I've never really played music for that reason. I'm happy doing whatever I need to support that. But it's always nice to make a little, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And I really like what you just said because I think this is one of the most important thing with making music. You should do something what you love. What you do it from the pureness of your heart. Of course, I mean, you want that people cheer you on, and that you have a cool show on stage. Kind of the rock star thing, and that's absolutely fine. But not. I talk with a lot of musicians, and sometimes when you run after a trend, or this is in right now and you should do this like that because this is kind of getting clicks and traction, whatever, you're always behind the curve. You're not getting anywhere. But if you do what you love, if you get successful, good. If you don't, you do what you love. There is nothing lost there. So this is
Right.
for me also an important thing. As long as you love it, it's fine. And worst case scenario is only the three people in the band will love the song, but I mean, the chance is quite good that other people will love it too. And I think I don't have to tell you this. If you are on stage and you're playing something that you really love, and when the spark hits the audience, and they will feel that you're really behind what you're doing, and not just going through the motions and now this riff and kind of there's even if you don't move along, I haven't seen a live show from you yet, unfortunately, of course, but there is anyway. I guess you do it for the right reasons, and yeah, and I think honestly, but this is just my pet theory I have here. If you do music with a soul, let's put it this way, then there is something more in the music than what you hear. There's something in the meta lines, in the meta levels between it, that there's something more in it. Not just the music consists of the beat and da 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 and this and that, but then there is something between the notes. Anyway, this is just my pet theory.
No, I agree. I agree with that. And there's something to be said with the way humans process things. Are beyond what they even realize, when they listen to the human touch and human emotion that translates literally from what your heart and your brain feel out of your hands onto strings, into a guitar pickup, out into an amp through speakers. Like it's when it's artificial, it loses it. Your brain knows that it doesn't have the same connection. Mm-hmm. And when you are live, like you're saying, and somebody is playing music with feeling, and you can just tell that it's organic and meaningful, it becomes that meaningful to a lot of the people that receive that message. I agree that, and that's where a lot of the excitement comes. They might not know that. They might not think that. They just know it's good and feel like, yes, this is important to me, and this is making me feel a certain way. Yeah, and I think a lot of that can be lost in electronic music because it is a machine. That's part of the beauty of it, is to have machines and sampled organic sounds put in place into patterns, and that's the beauty of that type of art. But I do think that some of that can be lost at times. If you just want to be a band that's just cutting and pasting everything, it's like, sure, that can be cool, but it's you'll hear once our new music comes out, it's I think we've dug a little deeper into our corner that we've kind of put ourselves in, and we're digging further and further and making a bigger area of what our sound is. Because it is different. It's hard to even describe because it's like heavier. It's gotten heavier, but and this is what every single band says. And this wasn't intentional. It is heavier, and it is poppier, and it just grew into that, like there's a lot more, a lot of the riffs on here, some of it's like, this is a Morbid Angel inspired riff, and this riff is inspired by Fear Factory, or whatever. This one isn't inspired by anything. It's just weird, It's less thought out, like we have to make a song like this or that. It came out very organically. And to be honest with you, the songs that we put out in on our EP, that's the 8-song EP, a lot of those were constructed in the studio to have an option of possibly getting airplay at the time. So I think a lot of the way some of those were cut, it's not going to be the same thing with these songs. So it's exciting, and I'm ready to kind of get it out and have I think if once you hear it, you'll know it feels even more
organic, even if it's more technical. I think I get your point. That's what you said earlier, because I'm also I love dark wave and I like EBM music and stuff. That's all cool, but of course that's a kind of different music. This is kind of where artists you sometimes just play push play, and then perform their stuff. It has something too. It's cold and dark and technical, and that's fine as well. I don't mind that, but with music, like you said, sometimes your brain puts in some other frequencies in there that are not really there. That you only perceive as yourself, and it kind of speaks to you. Anyway, I guess we agree that music is a great thing, and it's what I really love is there is no right or wrong. There's just something what you do or what you don't do, and you can go in every direction, and it's fine. And anyway, so funny that you mentioned with airplay stuff, and because before I started, I told you that I was just receiving once again a person saying, I can make you huge on Spotify and stuff, and all these fake plays and bot farms and whatever, or click farms, or however you call them. How is your personal approach to social media and also to this music outlet? Because the worst thing I heard so far, just to give you a context, is that artists already kind of tailoring their music to hit Spotify algorithms right, and I think this is absolutely wrong. I mean, we're talking about machine music, industrial is kind of very electronic and whatever, but it's kind of the chorus is in the first 30 seconds, so that your hook line is right there, and the songs are not very long, so maybe 1 minute 30 at the most, so you can play them more often. And so if you want to talk about it, if not, we can talk about something else. What's your take on this?
Well, first off, there's always going to be people that just want to succeed, whatever that is, whether that's getting high numbers, whether that's just to be in a band, just to be popular or to be famous or anything. And it's going to be an uphill battle, but if you really write something that connects with people, the people will find it. They always do, I mean, you do something that stand out and you send it to a bunch of people. Those people are going to listen to it and fall in love with it if they do, and then send it to other people. I think it's bad. It's a bad place to put yourself in, and to perhaps design it, especially if that's the first stuff you come out with. Like from the gate opening, you're already, this is what kind of music we're doing. So you're going to have to stick with that probably. It'd be hard to move away from that. If you get real popular and your whole thing is making a 1 minute rap song, that's probably what people are going to expect of you, or whatever. I don't know. I guess you can do whatever. For me, I like writing music because I like writing music, and I want it to be cool. I want to write music that I want to go listen to. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I think of like, oh yeah, I'd never heard a song that had this influence, that influence, this with this type of thing, and that would be cool, and that's what we'll write. Yeah, it's a little more selfish, and maybe I could be more successful in my life by doing the other stuff, but I don't care.
Yeah, but it's more selfish, but also authentic at the same time. It's because you said it earlier that your new stuff, but what I haven't heard yet, is kind of more kind of organic and just happened. And this is, I think, usually the best music where you might have a riff in your head. Maybe this is how your songs start, and then. And you think, oh, I'm going to do, this is going to be a mosher and whatever, and then it kind of spirals into something else. And then, the singer sings it a little bit different. And then, Beck comes in and plays it a little bit different. And then, it morphs into something new. And what I really love is, it becomes a living, breathing thing. And it becomes its own monster, and this is a good thing, because this is for me the difference, and I guess you agree here with me. Then you said earlier that the other songs were kind of patterned and this and that, but and it's fine, it's good. You need a structure and you need to start somewhere. I mean, you always stumble forward. You always evolve. I mean, this is sometimes where I don't get that a punk band plays punk after 20 years. This means, I mean, anyway, this is my personal kind of thinking that after 20 years you should kind of evolve from punk. This is a good starting point, but there could be more. Anyway,
Yeah.
Different subject. I love punk. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah.
I guess you get what I mean. And anyway, the best songs happen, and you just kind of you start here, and we move up to something completely different. And if you allow it, then it will be really become its own thing, and it will tell you where it wants to go, And
Exactly.
if you started as like Morbid Angel riff and roar, and then it becomes a ballad or something, and that's. I love it. That's kind of that you kind of just channel the magic or the energy or however you want to call it, and you're a tool for whatever comes out then. And yeah. Anyway, you see what I love
Yeah,
music.
yeah, no, that's great, and I believe that too. Like it's almost like you open your mind and you become a satellite that receives
Exactly.
something,
Hmm.
and then it comes out and you deliver it, and yeah, one bit of inspiration or information that you have in your brain about something, yeah, sit down, this is what I'm feeling, you write the whole thing, and then the next part inspires a whole different part, and then the beginning part just gets erased because it doesn't match the rest of the song. That's happened so many
Exactly.
times.
Exactly.
The
Yep.
first riff gives way to write all this stuff, and the part you're excited about first sucks after the rest of it. You're like, well, this is horrible. Get rid of that. Well, that's what wrote the song. How did that happen? It's bizarre, but it's true.
Yep. Yep. No, I just I dabble a little bit in music myself, and I just the other day I got from a death metal band. I got a riff, and I'm like, oh, I played around with it, and and then I reverse it, and and it's really cool. And then I put in, oh, now I put in some, and it happened exactly what you just said. The beginning was it was an electro song in the end. I mean, I didn't do something with it, but it became something completely different. And I love this freedom you have, and this is what you said earlier, where I think that it's really beneficial if you don't have any overlords, anyone where you kind of have to deliver a product, and people liked you because of this, so you have to kind of make a copy of your copy of a copy and stuff, so you can evolve. The One of the bands I really like is Paradise Lost, who kind of made
Nice.
every album differently. I don't like all
Yeah.
the albums, but I like that we kind of take their freedom and do whatever we want, because
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't want to. I like the Rolling Stones as well, but I cannot get it that we're playing the same stuff for centuries now.
Yeah.
Is it centuries? Decades. Sorry, not
Decades.
centuries.
Feels
Sorry,
feels like it though.
it feels like it. We've been around forever.
Ancient band.
Yeah, yeah. But,
Yeah.
the Incas, anyway.
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
no. But we were in the Inca calendar. I don't know. No. What I mean is kind of like or AC/DC or so. Um, I like the music. It's fine, but I cannot, by the life of me, I cannot get it. How you could be excited to play the same stuff for 20, 30, 40 years again. I mean, you're a live musician, so I don't know how we do it. I mean, it's a performance as well, and I don't know, if you're a stand-up comedian, you have to deliver your material again and again, and always fresh, and seem like you just thought of it. But I just kind of like, I don't know. It's in a way it's stale. It's kind
Yeah.
of not so exciting anymore. And anyway, I like the freedom you have with music because, let's face it, in this world we are living in, you have not many freedoms, especially now with COVID. We have all these restrictions and this and that. But with music, you can do whatever you like, and nobody can tell you on this is. I mean, your bandmates maybe play it an octave lower or something, but other than that, there's like do whatever you like, whatever you feel, what is right for you. And anyway, and I like this freedom,
Yeah,
and I hate if people get boxed down, like, yeah, like I just said,
it's
I don't
in
want to bash on them,
yeah,
but
and I understand how like there's a lot of factors for that. You know, I couldn't imagine what it's like to be an artist or be like even a woman to have to be forced to, be overly sexual or something in your product. You know what I
hmm
mean? Because they've had to do that for forever. Like be forced to dress a certain way because you're not gonna. They have people, the powers that be probably tell them they're not going to succeed and or pressure them into if they don't act a certain way. You know what I
hmm
mean? And dress a certain way. So I couldn't imagine that. Like if someone um, putting that over, you lose the importance of everything that you started with. And unfortunately, in the music industry, becoming a product is part of it. And it's like, how much is it worth it to let go to obtain the other part? And at the
hmm
end of the day, who knows if that's going to really make you happy, you know? And I think being honest and hopefully having people that can support you and not force you down some way you don't want to go is very important too, because obviously it's not about money. I mean, you can make money doing it, but it's hard, a lot of
hmm
hard work for people. And I don't know if once it becomes that type of pressure too, then you are doing it just for a paycheck and you just need to churn out music. You might not even feel like it. And you have to force yourself to write a record, and I don't know if I guess I'm happy with having the freedom of being able to take my time with stuff and, you know,
hmm
a little more
No,
natural approach.
yeah, I think so too. It's kind of, um, yeah, but only, I'm a nowhere musician, but I was closer to acting. I did as a younger boy, and some of my acting mates we become actors, and I really like acting. But if you have to do it as a job, and you have first of all you have to take every gig you get because you need a paycheck, and yeah, I don't know. I like that's why what you said earlier. Maybe stay independent as long as you can, and if you have a good billing so far, right? And then just work with. I mean, you know this yourself with certain labels and executives or whatever, whenever it's necessary or beneficial for both of you. I mean, that's yeah. Use your freedom. That's what I'm saying because it's kind
Yeah.
of yeah, I don't know. As you were talking about the product thing, I was thinking of the butcher babies. The butcher babies.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
you know, their thing was we got half naked on stage, and as we got kind of as we covered up their nipples when the music dropped. I mean, nobody was going there anymore because yeah,
Oh, wow.
it's really sad. It's kind of like this over sexualized. Anyway, this is. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
we need to talk about this, but yeah,
Yeah, I
you put
understand.
yourself in a corner, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if you want the music to be the main focus, then it needs to be, I mean, if you're singing about tits and ass, I guess if you're showing it, then it goes with the music. I don't know, but if it doesn't, if there's not a full picture, I mean, I think it's cool when bands have all the artwork and the live show is connected to the lyrics, and um, it's not just one thing or the other just to make it stand out. It's actually a bigger picture of the art, and bigger experience, so we definitely try to do that um, on stage, and that's going to evolve too. Like, we have plans of just evolving um, the whole visual aspect
Hmm.
of the band. But we gotta be able to play live soon to do that. So,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
yeah, you have actually you have quite nice artwork, I have to say, because this is also important for me. Like I said, there's a lot of people out there, just photoshopping something and putting a name on, woof, and then it's easy to do cover artwork today. But if you put in some more thought and some more time and or sometimes money, then it really shows, and it looks good. And yeah, you have a style. And anyway, I like your music. You know that.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
fine. You said, I just want to, maybe we cannot really follow up on this, but you said you should make your own music and people will find it. I'm not completely sure that it is the case because I don't know, like I said earlier, I think there's like 50,000 new songs each day on Spotify. I don't know the exact number. I have to check it up. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff coming out. Do you really think that people will find it?
Well, here's the thing. This is what I believe. And I believe this is in anything. I believe you can do anything you really want to do in life if you put your mind to it. Um, and you can wish things into existence that you desire, but you have to put effort to. It's
Hmm.
not just magic. So in the same way, I would explain how to achieve a goal and making it having a mindset and something that I hope for and desire. You start to do little things along the way to
Okay, I
push
got you.
that.
Okay, okay.
So, but
Mm.
what I think when it comes to that, if you do have a great record and um, you do have something different to show people, I think when I mean they'll find it is also you do need to get it to certain people too.
Okay,
I think you do need to do a little bit of work, and if you believe in it, other people in the industry need to hear about it. So you do need to find out how to get it to maybe a publicist and work with a
okay, okay,
publicist,
okay,
or
okay.
send for
Got you.
reviews and stuff. But I think ultimately, once a really great album is put out, if a handful of people get notice of it, I think that spreads because there's nothing cooler than having some new record that no one's heard and you being the person to show people.
Exactly. I
Like,
know. I know exactly what you mean. I'm older, so I remember when Nirvana came out and nobody knew it, and then we were blowing up, but I listened to it before it before it was
yeah,
cool,
yeah, yeah,
and I know exactly what
yeah.
you're talking about.
That's a sort of a social currency, I guess. Almost is, I guess that would be kind of what that would be closest to describing it, and it's in the especially before internet, being like, yeah, here, I'll make a tape copy if you listen to these
Hmm.
bands, and
Hmm.
you get it and your friend plays, you're just like, whoa, what is this? Something really special about that. So even with the oversaturation of music, and there's not a filtering system, like I'm sure MTV was the same over there as it was here. Is
Yep.
super. That was the main focus. That's how most people found music, was MTV. They
Hmm.
they filtered everything and delivered it to you. So that's where you knew that's what you should. A lot of this stuff you should listen to with some of the underground shows, at least in your perception. So when some kid, comes and hands you a tape and it's something that's not on MTV and it's super cool, there's nothing cooler than that. So even back then, I think something that had no chance of success, being on such a small little label or something, there's always going to be that kid that wants to show somebody else,
Hmm.
and it's going to find it. And if it's good, it'll make its way. If it's really good, it'll make its way to people.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also good live shows, of course. When word
Oh
of
yeah.
mouth gonna spread. Okay. No, I just wanted to kind of thank you for explaining, because it's not that it's like finding the needle in the haystack, and here I can shine a little bit because I have my weekly radio show where I kind of play new music. I have my playlist where I playlist the stuff I love, and I find and I want to get people to know. And I have a YouTube playlist where I put in my recommendations, what I really like, and one of your songs gonna end up there as well.
Cool.
So because this is for me kind of what I also thought, like you just said with MTV, it kind of filtered it a little bit, because today it's kind of like you're standing in a flood, in an avalanche of music, and there's because first I really thought, should I really do that? Because this is only my opinion and this is the music I like. But then I realized there is so much music out there. Sometimes you need a guide. And I'm a nobody, and this is just my personal taste. But I realized it might help a few people, and it seemed to do. So
people want it, though. You're surprised to find out, probably.
Yeah, I was
People want that
surprised.
direction.
Yeah,
People, it's do you remember Pandora?
Pandora. Yeah. Which one?
It's like a radio.
Oh
App
yeah.
kind of thing.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, when that came out, I remember a lot of people were really excited about it, because you would play something or based on an artist, and then it would give you stuff like that. And that became the new thing for a lot of people, is they were able to. It was very easy. And they're like, this is how I discover new music, because of Pandora. I mean, you can do that with Spotify too, with radio channels and all that. But I think it's really great. A lot less pressure on people to maybe listen to your radio station or something, and to I don't know, kind of be suggested something new. It's just like I mean, there's a couple things that I think people love to be bringing this news to somebody, is cool music that no one's heard of, and like a cool restaurant no one's heard of.
Exactly. You have to taste this. You have to taste this. Yeah.
Like, you won't believe this place. This is incredible, and you've never been there, but it's my favorite place. And those two things are forever, like, I think, going to be important to humans, and they're both things that most people are fans of. Food and music. If you travel, you usually go hear things, see things, and eat things. That's about it. You know what I mean? It's really pretty simple.
No, that's actually a cool, a cool thought. I haven't really thought about it, because I was hesitant to kind of, because it kind of seemed to me so boastful of me. I'm gonna give you a recommendation of what you should listen to, but then I realized, people need some guidance, and we are back to the thing what you said also about your music. If you put it from the right place of your heart, I mean, for me it's easy. I only tell you what I like and a little bit about why I like it and whatever, and it can be Iron Butterfly Inagada da Vida, because it's a cool song, from the 60s, and it could be a pop song from Erasure, because it's a cool song as well from the 80s, and I love it, that I can just do my own, and I realize people need some guidance. People lost a little bit track, because there's so much on, and the radio stations. I don't know how it is with you in Texas. The radio stations, they play the same shit over and over again. It's kind of like I guess it's the same there. If you have not college radio or some special underground, you hear only the same bullshit everywhere, and this is
they're getting paid to play certain stuff. It's just like anything. It's at that level. It's all about money. Whoever's controlling it, how they want it to be focused on. Like, there was a rock radio station I grew up with in Dallas, and man, they just played, like, you turn it on and there'd be a good chance, if it was during the day, it was going to be AC. It'd be like AC/DC or Pink Floyd, and you could be like, oh, those are great bands, but they played the same fucking songs, and it just bore the hell out of you. You're just like, stop! You're gonna make me not like these bands. They would play Money, but it's not the doom 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 down down down. I hate that song now, because they play it when I was a kid all the time. And they played Big Balls by AC/DC, which is like probably the worst song. It's not even like a rocker. It's I don't know why they played those anyway. And point is like it can also work in the opposite way when they're cramming stuff, as we've all noticed. And that was MTV doing some of those things. If you didn't like something, and that becomes what takes over, I mean, there was clearly a change in the early 2000s where it went from rock to like more pop stuff. You know what I mean? And that probably late 90s, actually, you could start to see that early 2000s just really switch over, and then they just quit playing music pretty much. And just
when we did all this reality show crap and stuff, this is really ridiculous. Yeah, no, this is actually a good point, because you absolutely. I'm kind of, maybe I'm not a normal person in a way, because I'm a radio DJ. I get a lot of music sent and stuff, but I get bored quite easily. So when you listen to my playlist or to my radio show, it's a mix. It's like from death metal to pop music. I play everything, and I kind of group it a little bit together, so that it's not kind of like a death metal song and then a dark wave song. It's kind of, I put it a little bit in context, but it's 1 hour of completely different kind of music, because I personally get. I don't know how it is with you. Maybe this is a question for you. In the past, you really sat down and got a new album, and you would listen from top to bottom. You kind of would go through all songs and really sit down. But today, I honestly have to admit, maybe it's all the media we always in and stuff. I even if I like the band a lot, I kind of wanna, after 3 songs, I wanna change it. Even I'm listening to industrial metal, and cool. But then I want something soft, some pop music or something. Is it the same with you? I mean,
actually, I do. I have kind of an ADD with music to an extent. I mean, I can listen to
good point.
I can listen to a full record, but in the course of a day, I'm jumping around all over the place. I could start out with death metal and then go to, like you said, pop. Next thing, I'm listening to something from the 80s, 70s, 50s, maybe even blues from before. Maybe I feel like classical music. Maybe I feel like listening to R&B and rap after each other, and then going back to death metal. Like, that happens too. Could go to hardcore, could go to punk, could go to country. Just listen to country music. It's I really understand that, but it's also what kind of fuels. It gives me energy for the day to be able to, get the vibes from all these bands and all these different styles of music. And I don't know, it's just like the soundtrack to whatever your life is, that day.
Yep. Yeah. No. Why you just said, you're jumping around. Sometimes I don't know how it is with you. Sometimes, I mean. Unfortunately, I haven't been to a concert in a long time, as you know, a fucking pandemic. But, sometimes when I go to a punk concert, and I like punk, but if they are playing, typical punk songs, and okay, one song is fine, second song is good, third song is getting, and then, when I kind of, I don't get it, that they don't get, that is so boring for the audience. If you're 180 miles per hour all the time, then it's not fast anymore. Or like in death metal, when you have the double bass thing, and you play it so fast that you cannot hear it anymore. It's kind of like wasted for me. If you play it like brrr, like a machine gun all the time, it's cool, or blast beats or whatever. I get it, cool. Yeah, it's a technique. But it's kind of worthless to me.
Well, you don't want to eat a mayonnaise sandwich. You want a little mayonnaise, and you want a bunch of other things on the sandwich.
That's a good picture.
You just keep piling the mayo on and nothing else, and it's after the first bite might be kind of good, maybe, but it's kind of gets gross after a while, and it's like, okay, I'm done with this. Sorry, I keep bringing things back to food. I'm not even hungry, but
it's noontime at you're gonna have lunch soon, I guess.
Yeah, where in Germany are you at exactly?
I'm in Jena. You might not know this. It's Thuringia. It's about 300 kilometers away from Berlin. It's closer to Bavaria, to Munich or so.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I've been to Munich, and I've been around Germany a couple times, but
Oh, so
I
wir können auch Deutsch reden, ja? Maybe
no,
not.
no, no, Franken Sie Deutsch? No. Nein.
Nein, okay.
Um, but my last name is actually German. EMDE, Emde is
Emde.
my last name.
Yeah,
Yep.
this is German. Okay, so you're
Yeah,
of German
in
descent.
origin.
Okay, Emde.
Some I met Mexican, and there's Mexican and German and
Good,
some other stuff.
a
Yeah.
good mix, a good mix. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My favorite foods and my favorite beers from both places, so it's all good.
So Corona and tacos.
Oh,
No.
yeah. Probably more Modelo, but yeah, definitely tacos. Yeah, but
I see.
definitely love German food though. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. I can eat all the sauerkraut in the world. It's great.
Oh yeah, I honestly, this is maybe so ridiculous and for the people out there so very stereotypical. But I'm a kraut and I like sauerkraut. It's
Oh yeah,
healthy. It's a healthy
super
food.
healthy.
It's got a lot of vitamins and good for your stomach. It has bacteria in it and stuff. So anyway, I see. I have to
Delicious.
go shopping tomorrow. I have to get sauerkraut.
And curry ketchup. Love curry ketchup. The
Curry ketchup?
currywurst and all that.
Currywurst. Okay, yeah. Is it
Yep.
a German thing? Currywurst. You don't have it in United States? I don't know.
But it's usually it's popular there, but you
Mhm.
can get it here. I mean,
Mhm.
just like you can get a hamburger everywhere, you know what I mean? I'm sure. But it's not like you don't get that everywhere, specific
Mhm.
places. But
Have you eat white sausage as you
oh,
were
yeah.
in? Okay, and how?
Uh-huh.
I'm not a big fan. I have to admit. Did you like it
Yeah.
with a
Yeah.
sweet mustard?
Yeah. No, I like it. I like all of it. What was it? There's bockwurst, and there's so
Yeah,
many
Bockwurst. Yeah.
wursts out there.
Where I'm
But
from, in Thuringia, we have a Bratwurst. This is, the
and bratwurst, of course.
Thüringische Bratwurst with lots of fat, and your arteries will
Yeah.
clog just looking at it. But it tastes really good. Uh,
Man,
so
now I'm getting hungry. It's the
yeah.
potatoes on the side, the potato
Oh, yeah.
salad.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm not a big potato. I like fries. Okay, or how do you croquettes or something? I don't know if it translates to
Sure. Sure.
but just potatoes or potato salad is not so much my thing. I have to admit. But yeah, I know it's very German. So
Yeah. Meat and potatoes.
meat and potatoes, exactly. And sauerkraut, of course.
Yep.
So I just want to, because I don't want to keep you too long, and when I get you hungry now, one of the last things I always like to talk about is, and you're in the lucky position that you had some live gigs already. Maybe is there some funny stage mishaps or antics or things that you can tell as you were on stage, off stage, or on your way to the stage?
Okay.
Is
Yeah.
there something you can share? I mean, PG-13 if possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. No. Man, there's so many of them. One unfortunate thing that happened with an old band of mine, like way back in the day. We drive way out to this gig, probably an hour and a half away. We get there. The vocalist is a little weird. We go on stage to play. The bass amp quits working. Boom,
Okay.
gone. The vocalist loses his voice, and my amp quits working also.
So we
Within
have
one
only
song.
drums, only drums.
Yeah, it was just boom. And I think there was an electrical problem, but it was not related that the singers. But I remember it was just like 1, 2, and we were just like, okay, we're not supposed to play here. Something's telling us, get the hell out of here. I definitely have better stories than that, but that's one that has to do with the stage for sure. God, I wish I'd have known this earlier. I would have sat and thought about it and brought
Yeah,
something good
it's
to the
it's
table.
we can talk because I mean if everything works out well, I just wanted to say if God allows,
Yeah,
or whoever entity
yeah.
you're thinking of, you will have a lot of stories soon because you're gonna play with some great bands. Maybe maybe you can give me your favorite influences for. I mean, you already gave me the influence. Sorry, but what's your current best industrial artists at the moment? The top three, maybe, because you said
Uh,
earlier there's a niche kind of thing, and it really boils down. And I have mine. Yeah, anyway, but give me
yeah.
yours.
One band is really good that's been doing honestly kind of I think leading the pack in the more aggressive industrial subs. Youth Code. You listen to
Okay.
Youth Code?
No,
You
I
not heard
haven't heard
them?
of it. No,
Oh man,
I'm gonna check them out.
yeah.
That's why I'm talking with you. I want to find out new
Ooh,
things.
ooh.
Youth code. Okay.
Yeah. Here, I'll write it to you. Um, and Ghostmane isn't industrial, but
All over the place, as you already said.
he's fantastic. Let me think. Just for industrial type stuff. I
Oh,
mean,
oh,
I listen.
let's open it up. Cool music. What music you really find? Like I said, I want to funnel a little bit and help people to find cool music. What is your top picks of cool music people should listen to?
Um, okay. Well, definitely Youth Code. Um, I really like. Let's see, someone newer. I'm
Can be
looking
old.
here.
It
Let's
doesn't
see.
need to
Oh,
be new.
okay. Um, Ghostman Youth Code. If you like shoegazy stuff, Nothing is a really good band to listen to. Um, Old black metal is always good. Um, I don't know. Cody Jinks, Sturgill Simpson are great country artists. I would highly recommend listening to them. There's a really cool resurgence in death metal too in the U.S. right now. Um, a lot of really neat bands coming out. 200 Stab Wounds is a band that's really cool. Been listening to recently. There's a band called Frozen Soul. They're from Texas. They're really good death metal in the bolt thrower vein. Um, Another band from Texas that's cool called Creeping Death. I just saw them for the first time recently. Um, Contracult Collective's new music when it comes out. I definitely recommend that.
Oh, see,
Um,
I have a really stupid question I haven't asked you because I told you beforehand it's more like a conversation, and I think we had a really
sure,
nice conversation, but
sure,
and that's why I don't call it an interview. But I have a really stupid interview question, and I'm gonna ask it
sure,
now.
sure. That's okay.
Contracult Collective. What's the meaning or the idea behind this name?
Well, the meaning of the band in terms of what's behind the band, maybe not the words specifically, because I'm not going to say exactly what that is because it would kind of direct away from the whole idea. But as what we represent as a band is freedom, freedom in your choices in life to be who you want to be and to believe the things that you want to believe. That's kind of the motto of the band. Um, 'Cause there's a lot in this world. Just being born, you're being told what to do, who to believe, whether it's politician or religion or just how you dress or what's right or wrong, and freedom of expression and freedom of you know um, decision making and being your own person. That's the main thing behind the band and the motto. The words themselves, I think, would be pointless to point out exactly where we got those, but yeah, I don't know, and it's whoa, oops, kicked over water bottle. It's it's really sad. Like, you look around the world, and there's just so many. We're so lucky. I'm so lucky to be living in a place. I mean, we have our own problems just like anyone else, but born and raised in a place where really you don't have to worry about that much. I can play music, and they're not gonna take me to jail because I'm playing metal. Certain countries you can't do that. You know what
Yep.
I mean? You start doing that, and they're done. You can go to jail for smoking a joint in certain countries. For like a long time. Things are pretty strict. And pretty lucky to be at a place where we can. I would want to make a rock band that says whatever we want. And when I say freedom too, I don't want it to get confused with like America, freedom, brother. Not like that, but
freedom fries.
Yeah, freedom fries, brother. None of that crap. But oh man, that's ridiculous. Freedom fries.
I know. It's when was it? It was Bush, right? It was a Bush era.
Yeah,
when was it?
After 9/11. Well, that's the thing. You can always smell some bullshit when everyone something happens, and everyone gets all patriotic, and America, like, something's going on.
America. It's not even America. It's just America.
America, brother.
America.
Yep. So weird. But I mean, just in general, so I'm thankful for that. I haven't had a lot of pushback on, I mean, apart from people, early in the days playing music and then walking out and someone handing you flyers saying like, are you playing this for the Lord? Is your music for Jesus? And it's like,
are you saved? Are you saved?
Yeah, like, bro, I'll listen to you, but this isn't gonna do anything for me, but they have the right to do that too. But as long as, hopefully people can live lives and, walk a little taller the next day from listening to the music, and encourage them to be able to live the life they want to live, Cool. And there's a whole lot of stuff in the lyrics and the themes in this next record, which you'll see there's a vast
expanse of a universe.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting, and maybe we'll talk again when we have a record out and stuff's going. But
I would like that, because I think this was a nice ending point, to explain this. And I'm also, I'm very grateful. I'm just doing what I like to do. Nobody pays me to talk with you. This is my hobby. This is my free time I'm using here, but I like it. And I know maybe sometimes my videos is seen by 10 people, and sometimes by 100, and sometimes by 1,000. But it doesn't really matter, because we both had fun, and I found out something new. I found out some that is worthwhile to me, and we're full circle back to the music. I'm doing what I like, and if people like it, good. If you don't like it, well, I like it. What's else where? And yeah, I think we should definitely talk, because, again, I will put it in my calendar. Maybe in half a year, I will contact you again and see where you are. And hopefully, things are looking better at the moment here. I don't want to talk about the pandemic anymore, but we are in Germany. Right. We are in the fourth wave at the moment. Spain already kind of labeled us as a high risk area, and it's kind of, we're just getting tired. But on the other hand, we are still lucky. We all got vaccinated right now, and things are okay. And anyway, I don't want to talk about this whole bullshit.
Yeah. Well, also a few bands that are more in the industrial realm that just popped in my head, which I do listen to. I'll send them to you as well. It's a band called Floorless. They're from Florida.
Okay.
A band called Static Bloom from New York, and a band called Realize. I'm not sure where they're from, but I just sent you the names in the chat. But they're all really cool. Realize is very Godflesh esque, a heavier realm like that. Floorless has a whole bunch of different stuff in there, but they're definitely in the heavier industrial realm. Really cool stuff. And Static Bloom they're incredible. They're a group that we played with in New York while we were there as well. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Yep.
So have a good lunch now, and we're definitely going to talk again. And please ping me once you have the new stuff out, so I can put it in my playlist. And
Sure.
if you want, I also can play it in my radio show. But then I just send me an MP3 or so. Anyway, thank you very much. It was really nice to get to know you. Yeah, and if you're back in LA, let me also know when I can connect you to the other bands I know there, because this is what I really love. I'm here in Germany and I have friends all over the world, and I kind of like you said it in the beginning quite nicely, that industrial metal is kind of niche, and if you boil it down, it's only a few bands that really matter, but it's kind of also an underground thing, and there's a lot of bands coming up and and doing it and doing crazy stuff, and if you want, I can hit you up with a few people from LA I know there. So
cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you very much for your time. Have a great lunch.
Of course. Thank you.
Sauerkraut und Kartoffeln und Weißwürste und Bier. Viel Bier.
Oh, that sounds great.
Okay.
Perfect.
I talked to
Awesome.
you. I put you down in my calendar, and I sent you all the stuff later on, like
Cool.
we agreed. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for your time.
Sounds good. Take care.
You too. Bye.